Within this video, I'll go through everything that happened within this week's developer stream, where I do the watching so you don't have to. Stay tuned. This week, John McFarlane was the host, joined by senior designer Shelley Preston. In the brig, they had executive producer Joe Nate and Theon Lee, aka Picaroon, the community and design intern. They were also joined by Captain Jay from the YouTube channel The Crow's Nest. The theme this week was The More the Merrier, where they had to get as many people on the ship as possible. It wasn't successful as they only ever got 2 people on the ship at most, despite spending most of the stream looking for people. However, the wheel of other players' emotions, as always, made their goal a little bit more difficult, as the first one was sink the ship and the second was get into the crow's nest. Once all the introductions were done and the theme of the stream explained, Joe swore and then spent most of the stream being apologetic about it. Joe mentioned that the music that appears when you're doing an Order of Souls quest is officially called bounty music. He will also evidently be doing another Sea of Thieves and Me episode. When they were asked on what they were working on, Shelley spoke up first, saying that she's revamping the Merchant Alliance quests because she's aware that people, when you're doing an Athena's, people basically pick them up and dump them. So she wants to make them more desirable to do. She said that she will be increasing their gold reward, reducing the required distance travelled, making the cargo easier to care for, and animals will also have their values increased. Joe said that he's been watching a lot of internal videos on pets, saying that they're super cool, and Joe said that pets were discussed as to whether or not they should do damage when they're shot out of a cannon. They decided that 1 damage was acceptable as they didn't want the game to become pay to win, but also felt that you should be rewarded if you did get shot with a pet out of a cannon. When they were asked about whether or not paid customizations would be brought into the game, where the money raised would go to charity, they said that it does fit along with the company's ethos. However, it's not something that they've spoken about. We got a story from Joe about when the team first started to get together. They were all given a pirate name by Greg. They were able to change it if they really didn't like it by paying some money, and each of their pirate names were printed out on a name plaque, and you could pay to have it look a little bit more fancy, and all of the money raised went to a local parrot sanctuary. So it is something that they would like to do, they just haven't put any thought into it as yet. They were asked about whether or not they'd be introducing stats for time spent rowing or swimming and so forth. Joe replied saying he isn't sure if those stats are currently being tracked and don't want to upset the community by adding something like that to the game without it being retroactive. Also, they don't want to drive the community in any particular direction by having those stats available. They were asked about whether or not all of the devs are currently working on the mega update. Joe replied saying that the bulk of the devs are, however, a few are working on quality of life changes and some bug fixes. When they were asked about whether or not all of the secrets have been found, they answered by saying that they're always adding more, especially with the upcoming update. When referencing the gaps on the front of the ship, Joe said, "This gap draws me over," alluding to the mega update and the gap's function. They also said that the underwater building means something, but didn't give any details to what this was exactly. They read out a question on changing ship sizes, saying that they know it's a feature the community want, however it's more complicated than it appears to be, and again they're currently focusing on the mega update, so this may be something that comes after the fact. They mentioned that the Devil's Fort will also be full of mostly ashen loot. They were also asked about whether or not they'll be adding more sea creatures to the game, and they answered by saying that they love them but they're not currently focusing on the sea. They're focusing on fleshing out the quests and pets, as well as quote-unquote land things, and spicing it up. Shelley added that they're cooking up some great stuff, and when she was called on the pun by the chat, she replied with, "They're really fishing now, aren't they?" Presumably in reference to the cooking and fishing that will be coming in the mega update. The team joked about how Shelley was wearing a red shirt, similar to how Joe did when asked to by Reddit. They gave away 2 codes for Obsidian item sets, where you had to guess 1 number from the code given on stream. I've got a rundown including timestamps of everything that happened within the stream. If you're interested, head over to my website via the link in the description, although that was all that was mentioned in the stream that was worth reporting on. The stream itself was a little bit slow to start with, but it did get better as it went on and became quite entertaining. However, that's all for this video. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed the Aussie accent, share the video with your friends so we all stay up to date, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Hope you're having a lovely day. Till next time.